What's the strangest date you've ever been on?
It's 2001, so VHS and chill at this girl's dorm room. My first time over there, and there is this giant bear on the bed. Like, got the softball in the milk jug at the carnival first try-tier bear. That occupies 50% of the surface area. I say whoa, how'd you score that bear? Her. I don't know. Me. What? Her. I don't know. A few minutes go by. Me. You don't know? Her. Yeah. Me. Okay, look. It's okay if it's from an ex. I don't care if you stole it. I'll believe almost anything you tell me at this point. But there is no way in hell you're going to tell me you don't know where that giant bear is from. I had a stuffed dinosaur 1/4 that size that I got when I was 6, and I could tell you every detail about how I got it. Her. Well, good for you. But I don't know how I got it. Are you going to be able to let this go? Me? Looks at bear, bear stares back, eyes full of secrets. I don't think I can. Walk out.
Maybe a bit more creepy than strange, but I haven't been on many dates. We met on Tinder, hadn't talked for too long, but I thought, what the hell, I need to get out more blah blah. The first thing he said was, "Oh wow, you're so pretty," and tried to kiss me on the mouth. I sort of dodged and gave him a cheek and ignored it to avoid him getting embarrassed. He was not embarrassed. 2 drinks in, we're talking a bit awkwardly, and he's clearly buying me double GNTS instead of the singles I'm asking for. I was a bartender at the time, I can taste the difference. When I'm mid-sentence, he guards my face and says, "Sorry, I just need to get this out of the way," and forcefully sticks his tongue down my throat. I didn't really know what to do because I didn't want to cause a scene, and he's about a foot taller than me. I said I needed to look up the time for the last train. He said, "No, it's fine, you can stay at mine." I said thanks, but I look up the last train. He begs, saying he'll sleep on the couch, he just wants to get to know me better. Still said no. He huffs very briefly and then cheers up and tells me he'll look up the train time for me like a gentleman. He says it's at 1 a.m. I said that's late, is he sure? He gets all tense and says, "What? Don't you believe me?" So I smiled and said of course not, and then a few minutes later I excused myself to the toilet and checked the times on my phone, which said the last train was actually at 12:15 a.m. Lovely. I went back to my seat. He asked if I wanted to wait at his flat for the last train, and I said no, I'm getting an Uber now, bye. He tried to beg me to stay, loudly and embarrassingly, so others could hear. Hopefully I'd get so embarrassed I'd go home with him, I guess. And even pretended it was his birthday and yelled to the bar that he was protecting me by taking me home, because taxi drivers can be rapists. I told him quietly to frick off and that I was going home, and he loudly asked for a hug and tried to grab my boobs. Matched on Tinder with a guy who decided that a great story to tell in detail on our date was about the time he fisted a lady and tore her up so bad inside that she was bleeding profusely and had to go to the hospital to get stitches. After he was done telling the story, he told me he was glad I told him I was super squeamish because now he wouldn't try to show me pictures of all the blood he had saved on his phone. He also said he had been on well over 100 Tinder dates and I had managed to land in his top 10. I never talked to him again. I was a waitress and I had a table of 2 guys. One was very cute and flirting with me, and we exchanged numbers. He asked me out and I said yes. I didn't really go out much and he didn't tell me where we were going out, what we were doing. Me being young and dumb at the time thought that would be exciting. So he drives me a pretty good way from my house and we go to an elementary school. I was really confused. Apparently he was a basketball coach and they had a game that night. So at this point I notice I have no reception on my phone and I really wanted to leave, but I thought maybe we were going somewhere fun afterward, so I gave up trying to call someone to rescue me. I sat and watched this game right next to this dude's mom. Yeah, this was going well. Finally the game ended and we go to get in the car, and his friend from the restaurant gets in the front seat, making me sit in the back. I am super uncomfortable with this, and I ask what's going on. They basically tell me they want to run a train on me. Nope. Frick that. Take me home now. I got lucky. They moped and took me home. I was terrified. That was horrible.
Hot girl from class randomly walked into my dorm room. The door was normally open during the day. She was in the building visiting a friend and saw me playing guitar, so she came in and started flirting. She asked me to meet her at a nearby bar that night at 10, so I agreed. I get there at 10, and she introduces me to her boyfriend. I finished my beer and went to the bar my friends were at. Met a girl online, talked it up, and while she seemed a bit immature, thought heck, why not? She casually mentioned she really liked pigs. What she meant to say was she was obsessed with pigs. Obsessed. Go to one of the best restaurants in the area for a first date, bad idea. Sometimes pictures are from someone 10 years prior, or the person hides things, etc. But that wasn't the problem. She looked just like her pictures. But I didn't even have to have seen her first, because everything else gave it away. She came in a giant t-shirt that had a sparkly pink pig on it. Earrings? Pig earrings. Bracelets? Yep, pig bracelets. I swear her dad might have been Homer Simpson. She had this headband on with a little pig on it. Her shoes? Yep, pigs on the front of the toes. But best of all? She had a giant, or at least it seemed giant, pink purse with the face of a pig on it. You could not stop seeing it once you did. And I'm sure everyone else in this nicer, classier restaurant saw it too. I felt overdressed with her, but underdressed with every other couple there. It was beyond embarrassing. For some reason which I have to convince myself was politeness, not stupidity, we still had dinner. But Reddit, it was the fastest damn dinner I've ever had at a sit-down place. I practically blurted out something about how, oh, you really do like pigs. Which she started giggling, oinking, and going on about how everything she has is pig-themed. Then she wouldn't stop, and it became the dominant part of the conversation. There were a dozen other things that made it a train wreck, but these were the clinchers to a solid 0-5 date. I remember afterwards consoling with a friend of a friend because I had to tell someone, and then I promptly buried this as my worst date. TLDR. Girl was obsessed with pigs, but ironically no porking at end. Wasn't my date, but I had gone home with a guy I had been seeing, and when we got there his roommate was curled in a ball on the couch looking pretty shaken. We asked him what was wrong, and it took him a while to get it out, but he finally told us what happened. He took a girl home from the bar, and they started drunkenly tearing each other's clothes off as soon as they got through his bedroom door. She said she was self-conscious though, so she wanted the lights off. He switched them off and they started fooling around. She starts going down on him when all of a sudden, the guy notices this horrible smell. He mentions it, but she tells him to just ignore it, he's probably imagining things. Finally the smell is too much, so he switches the lights on. That's when he sees it. Shoot. Literal shoot all over her and all over the bed. He is completely dumbfounded, doesn't know what to say or do, so apparently all he yelled was shoot. She grabbed all her clothes and ran out of the apartment crying without saying a word and, presumably, still covered in poop. He threw his bedding out, took an hour-long shower, and refused to go back into his room. Pretty much killed our night too. To this day I still wonder what on earth happened. Was she into it and was hoping he would be too? Was it an accident and she decided to just go with it? I don't know which scenario is more horrifying, to be honest. I want to forget I read this. Yeah. I figured this post would make people wish they didn't know how to read. I've posted this before because it's so weird. I went for a meal with this girl I met through a dating app and it was going really well. We started talking about movies and then we decided to go to the cinema to go watch Inception. She said there was a cinema nearby, but I didn't know the area at all, so I used the GPS on my phone, and she held it and directed me. Once we got there we started walking inside and I realized I didn't have my phone in my pocket. I said I must have left it in the car and started to walk back to get it. She was trying to get me to leave it and saying we would miss the film, but the phone was only about a week old, so I was really paranoid about it. We checked the car for about 10 minutes, but we couldn't find it. I asked her to check her jacket and her bag, but she said it wasn't there. A couple parked next to us, so I asked them to ring my number because I couldn't find it. It started to ring and it was obviously coming from my date's handbag. She took it out and said she must have missed it. I thanked the couple and locked my car, and as I turned back around she was walking the other way. I ran to catch up and asked what was going on, but she was very dismissive and was barely talking. That's when I realized it wasn't an accident and just left her to walk home alone.
I have a strong suspicion she's A. done this before, and B. would have excused herself during the movie and bolted then. Highest probability of a clean escape. Always check your pockets, kids.
Like, comment, and share. Reddit Story Topper. Subscribe now.